Quick question, is the reason you struggled to overcome for years because you failed to spot the traps? So this right here is part 8 of our overcoming series, and as always, if this is your first time tuning in, then make sure you go back and watch from part 1 so that you get the full context on everything we've covered so far and it all makes sense to you. The link for the playlist will be in the description. Let's jump in. So I'm a big fan of action movies, especially the ones that involve spies, agents, and the type of people that can move in, get the job done, then move out of the enemy's camp pretty much undetected. Their presence and impact is felt, but nobody saw them come or leave. But what does that remind you of? You see, our enemy, Satan, tends to operate something like that too. He looks for ways to sneak in undetected, causes all sorts of mayhem, then leaves without us even realizing it was him. But what does that look like? Well, maybe it's your husband or your wife suddenly provoking you out of nowhere. Or maybe it's that person whose comment makes you feel like sinking into depression. Or it could even be that girl or that guy who knows you'll wrestle with lust, but still keeps on pushing those boundaries. You see, the thing is, it's not so important who the person is, but it's more about us recognizing that anybody, even our comrades in Christ, can be a tool used by Satan in an attempt to cause us to stumble. Check out these verses from 1 Peter chapter 5. It says, "Be sober-minded, be alert. Your adversary the devil is prowling around like a roaring lion, looking for anyone he can devour. Resist him, firm in the faith, knowing that the same kind of sufferings are being experienced by your fellow believers throughout the world." See, the enemy doesn't fight fair. So don't expect a big-horned monster when it comes to you being tempted towards dysfunction. Back in Eden, he used Adam's wife, and when Jesus walked the earth, he tried to use Peter too. If he can appear as an angel of light, then he can hide in the form of those we least suspect to be momentary agents used to do his will. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they're actually Satan's agents. It could well be that they're just acting in dysfunction, and the enemy is capitalizing on an opportunity to draw you out. So time to take stock, my bro, my sis. When it comes to those things that you've wrestled with, have you been able to spot the traps? Have you been able to spot the different people that the enemy might have used? Or do you walk the streets ignorant of what's really going on and making the mistake of thinking that it couldn't be him or her because of how close they are to you? Now, I'm not saying all of this so that you would make the mistake of demonizing these people, because ultimately they are not the enemy. But I'm saying it so that if and when a time comes that one of those people you least suspect is used to trigger you, that you'd be alert and know how to navigate the trap without demonizing the person. Is the reason you struggled to overcome for years because you failed to spot the traps. Peace.